Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the June 10th, 2021 executive session of the Prince George's County Board of Education. We are meeting, we are meeting to vote to go into executive session. Ms. Williams, please read the written statement. Thank you.
Madam Chair, I move that upon a motion that has been properly recorded and adopted, the Board of Education of Prince George's County meet in closed session pursuant to Section 3-305 General Provisions, annotated Code of Maryland, to address the following: to discuss the appointment, employment, assignment, promotion, discipline, demotion, compensation, removal, resignation, or performance evaluation of appointees, employees, and other officials over whom this public body has jurisdiction, and any other personnel matters that affect one or more specific individuals. To conduct collective bargaining negotiations or consider matters that relate to the negotiation. Section 3-305, 1 and 9. The meeting is closed to receive a report from the CEO regarding administration of the school system. The meeting is closed to discuss personnel matters regarding the appointment, employment, performance evaluation, and assignment of certain appointees, employees, or officials over whom the board has jurisdiction, including considering personnel-related matters associated with the board office. That is not a part of the statement. The meeting is closed to discuss collective bargaining and matters related to collective bargaining. Section 3-305 B12, the meeting is closed to consider and discuss internal audit investigation procedures.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
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 Any nays?
A question.
Yes, Board Member Thomas.
Yeah, I just had a question. It appears that there is no legal counsel on this call. My understanding is that last week there was a vote by the board to sign a contract for legal counsel. And I think that is important for us to go into executive session to have legal counsel with us. So there was a contract that was voted on by the board last week. Is there a reason why that contract was not signed?
Yes, there is a reason, and it was stated in the last meeting. And we have a motion on the floor. If that's the end of your discussion, it's appreciated, and we will move forward. Are there any nays? Excuse me?
It was not the end. So yeah, this is a question about voting to go into executive session. So my questions are appropriate.
I didn't say they were inappropriate. I said,
Dr. Miller?
Excuse me, Ms. Williams.
I was not cutting off anybody, so
I didn't cut you off. I was trying to keep Ms. Williams from cutting you off.
Okay, so yeah, my questions are having to deal with the vote to go into executive session. Again, my concern is about the fact that there is no legal counsel, and I think that it is not appropriate for us to meet and conduct business of the board in closed session without legal counsel present. So I'm just a little bit confused and concerned as to why the contract that the full board voted upon was not signed. And so if you or, well, I guess I'll ask to the chair and to the vice chair, did the full board vote in compliance with the Open Meetings Act to approve a contract for legal counsel? And this is just a yes or no question. Did that happen? This is for the chair or the vice chair.
I can't give a yes or no answer. I can give you an answer, but I cannot give you a yes or no, and you're not going to put me in a box to respond to that.
Okay,
so you will allow me to give a response as I understand it, and then we can move forward with carrying out this vote to go into executive session. Now, do you want a response, or is it that you're mandating or demanding a yes or no response?
Well,
I have no yes or no response for you.
since there is no yes or no response, I think we can all look at the record. We can look at the meeting last week. We can see that there was a vote, in fact, to approve a contract for legal counsel. So the yes or no question, though I'm asking this to, I think I may be frozen here for a sec, so I'm not sure if folks can still hear me.
We can hear.
Sorry
you.
if I went out. Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, so again, it is a yes or no question because I do know the answer. I think we can all look at YouTube and look at the previous meeting to find the answer, which is that the board did vote to approve legal counsel. And so if you don't want to choose to answer that as a yes or no, then that's fine. But the answer is yes, the board did vote to do that. And the next yes or no question that I don't think you'll want to answer is whether or not the chair of the board did execute that contract as directed and voted upon by the board. The answer is no. It appears that you don't want to answer any of these questions. But again, the record will show that this is what the board has voted on and that the chair has neglected her responsibility to carry out the votes of the board and the will of the board. So I just want to note that I will be voting no to go into executive session because I do think that that is a irresponsible decision for us to do so as a board, to meet in closed session without legal counsel. And I think it's irresponsible on board leadership's part to not to continuously keep us without legal counsel. So those are my remarks, and I'll be voting no. And I ask that you call the
duly noted. Thank you. Board Member Williams.
No comment.
Board Member Ahmed.
Thank you, Dr. Miller. I think colleagues, despite multiple attempts of this board to try and solidify interim legal counsel, it's just looking like that's not going to happen, despite the directives and the multiple votes that we've taken. The reason that I'm going to be supporting going into executive session, although I completely agree with the points that Mr. Thomas has mentioned, is that I expect that no types of legal matters in which direct counsel support is needed is going to be presented. And I expect that there will not be any votes or any discussion on items that require legal counsel or even that we desire to have legal counsel. But I do want to emphasize that we should not be in a situation where we're not able to meet in executive session to address all the different things that we could possibly and definitely need to address in executive session as a result of lack of legal counsel. And I can say that I feel like very many colleagues, most of my colleagues on this board right now have done their due diligence and at least trying to navigate, mediate the situation so that we have interim legal counsel. And I just don't understand why we're not there right now. That's all, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Board Member Ahmed. Any other questions or discussions before we take the vote, which we had already begun? I guess we'll call the roll since.
No, Madam Chairwoman, I think it's more of a discussion before the vote to go into executive, and I would like to say something. I agree.
Okay, I didn't see your hand, Ms.
That's
Queen.
okay.
I did not see your hand, and I did not finish my statement. So may I finish my statement?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
We did have a motion on the floor, and I had called for the question, and now we're having discussion. And I recognize you now, Ms. Queen, Board Member Queen.
Thank you so very much, Madam Chair. I agree with Board Member Ahmed. We still need to go into executive session and handle the business that Prince George's County public, students, staff, and the public expect us to handle. So in saying that, I will be voting to go into executive session. I also feel like maybe we just need to add this discussion on the agenda and talk about it in the executive session. I would note also that I requested several times that we have a parliamentarian to help us do our meetings, and that has not been addressed. But I think that would help with some of the issues and the fact that even if we had to go through the end of the year without an attorney, at least we would have someone to guide us with some rules and regulations. And I just wanted to make that statement. So thank you so very much.
Thank you, Board Member Queen. Any other discussion? Board Member Williams, Vice Chair Williams.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I think the challenge that everyone is having with the process is that there are things that have to occur through procurement that has not been completed. And so we will continue to proceed forward. And like Ms. Ahmed noticed, there is no actions that are being taken in executive session that will require a legal counsel to be present. So that's all that I had to add to the conversation, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Ms. Ahmed. Board Member Ahmed.
Thank you, Dr. Miller. I just wanted to note, I do not believe that this is a procurement issue. This is an issue of following directives of the board, and that is what did not occur. And that is why we do not have interim legal counsel. And we have not had interim legal counsel for many weeks now. It's just extremely and incredibly frustrating for me to see our board in this state right now. And I will ask that if there are comments being made by the chair or vice chair, that be part of your 5 minutes and 3 minutes on this. Thank you.
Board Member Thomas.
Yeah, the vice chair just mentioned that the reason the contract has not been signed and that we currently do not have legal counsel is due to a procurement issue. So Dr. Goldson, would you be able to speak to that at all? Is that true? And can you validate that statement at all?
I will not, because I'm not sure the, word.
I didn't say it was an issue, I said process. And as someone who understands the process of procurement, the process that needs to occur has not occurred yet.
Okay, so there is a process, Dr. Goldson, who I was directing my question to, can you speak to what this process is and what's going wrong? Because the board did vote to have legal counsel, and so I'm just unclear about why we don't. Vice Chair Williams is implying that there's something being held up on the end of procurement. So that's why I'm directing my question to you.
I think that the board chair sent an email to all board members earlier this week with the explanation of why it was not signed and executed by the board leadership. And I think you should refer back to that email.
Great. So would that mean that Ms. Williams' comments regarding procurement are incorrect?
That's not for me to say. I'm just saying refer back to that email.
Okay, Board Member Thomas, have you finished?
Yes.
With that being said, I'm now ready to take the vote to go into executive session. Please call the roll, Ms. Young. Is she here?
Ms. Adams Stafford,
Yes.
Ms. Ahmed,
Yes.
Ms. Boozer Strother,
Yes.
Mr. Harris,
Yes.
Ms. Jackson,
Yes.
Mr. Montero,
Yes.
Ms. Queen,
Yes.
Mr. Thomas,
No.
Mr. Valentine,
Aye.
Dr. Miller,
Yes.
Ms. Williams,
Yes.
We now, we have a quorum, and we will now meet to go into executive session. Community members, please join us at 7 p.m. for board work session. Reminder, board members now please sign into the executive session meeting in Zoom. We will now end this meeting.